Hello guys, I am sure you remember how for a million times Ukrainians have warned you don't want to be dependent on the Russian gas or any other Russian energy. All because the Kremlin traditionally uses the natural resources as instruments of war, blackmail, or manipulation, or to push the policies which are good for the Russian oligarchs and, of course, bad for your governments and your countries. But today we actually have this very obvious proof that the Russian gas pipelines are instruments of war. And all because the Russian army decided to send hundreds of Russian soldiers via a pipeline to Sudzha to attack Ukrainian soldiers. They could not reach our troops in Kursk any other way, so they have decided to risk hundreds of Russian soldiers in that pipeline. And of course, we've neutralized all of them and sent the majority to hell where they belong. It was much easier via pipeline. And all in the context of this constant and very open betrayals coming from the White House. It seems to me that right now Donald Trump betrays not just Ukraine, Europe, or Canada, but actually the people of the United States. He shut down satellite sharing with Ukraine, intelligence sharing with Ukraine, banned the delivery of weapons which were already on the border, and the maintenance of F-16s, and all to make Ukraine surrender. But I have a surprise for Donald Trump and Musk. It may be that the mission of the Ukrainian people is not just to destroy the plans of the Kremlin goblin, but of another bad man now in the White House. I believe this can be our mission, actually. So let's discuss what are the most important events of this week and how did we greet Russian soldiers in Sudzha. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel. And by the way, that is the only working peace plan. You know that for more than half a year, Ukrainian soldiers control a lot of settlements in Kursk region. That was a big surprise, not just for the Russians, but for the world. And despite all of these fake narratives coming from J.D. Vance and Donald Trump that Ukraine or any other country actually cannot defeat Russia, we clearly see how vulnerable this agonizing Moscow empire is. And actually, right now, the White House does everything to save the Putin's regime because their economy and their military is on the brink of the collapse, including the army. But in Sudzha, they were fighting, they were trying to take control, and they could not reach the Ukrainian forces, even when we don't have access to the American intelligence. So they decided to take a very risky step. But Russians don't care about the lives of their soldiers, and they have sent hundreds of their soldiers into a gas pipeline that goes to Sudzha, because you know Sudzha is a very important regional center for gas transportation. And it's very bad inside of that pipeline because it has a lot of gas in it. That's why they had to put special masks, but hundreds of Russians were neutralized by the very pipeline and these vapors, evaporations that exist inside. And those hundreds that managed to reach Sudzha were met by Ukrainian soldiers and sent back to the pipeline. I think your fantasy can help you guess what happened to them. I hope there is a direct connection to the hell between the pipeline and the rest of the Russian soldiers that are already in that hell. That's exactly where they belong. And I'm very proud that in the context of This constant betrayals in the context when J.D. Vance and Donald Trump in all of their interviews and Elon Musk in all of his posts, I don't know, when does he have time for that? They try to demoralize Ukrainian people, to break our spirit, but they are so wrong. They are so far away from their reality, and I hope that awakening will be very, very harsh. If you share my opinion, share the videos on social media, and please subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. Russians have developed this special military operation with a pipeline, repeating their operation in Avdiivka, and they failed tremendously. And this is another proof that they will be defeated. Just do not side with Moscow, because right now what we see is not the United States abandoning Ukraine, focusing on internal affairs. We see the United States siding with Russia and demonstrating all these very negative attitudes to former allies, not just Ukraine, to all the European countries, to Canada, to Mexico, and today to Poland. I don't know if you spend some time in the toxic environment of X. I'm still there. You can find the link in the description of this video. But there were rumors, and I think it will happen, that Musk can turn off Starlink for Ukraine, despite the fact that Poland pays for it. And Polish Foreign Minister Kursk reminded about that. And Musk started humiliating the minister of Poland, a very smart, respected man, naming him a small man and so on and so forth. What is Musk? He is a crazy, very unpleasant, disgustingly looking human being that keeps bullying everyone. This cannot lead to victory or success. I'm sure you know classmates like that, neighbors like that, and they typically do not succeed. And I like these tendencies that we observe, fewer and fewer people buying Teslas or even Starlink contracts abandoned. And I'm very grateful for that as a Ukrainian. But once again, just as with the Russian gas pipelines, this is the way to safeguard yourselves. Because do you want this kind of equipment, this kind of energy source that can be turned off because of the bad mood or crazy ideas of a company that provides you with it? No. And I'm sure that right now the United States are losing billions, if not trillions of dollars in contracts because more and more countries see they are not a reliable partner with Trump at the top. I know many of you tell me about the protests happening in your states, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't know, I cannot judge, I cannot express a lot of things, but I do believe that democracy is in danger globally right now, and we have to remain united and we have to remain alert. And it is not the time just to say, I'm sure you will win, good will prevail. It is the time to act, at least to demonstrate your solidarity very openly and dissatisfaction with the steps that are wrong. And I'm once again very grateful for that, because Donald Trump is openly demonstrating his position. He sides with the Kremlin. During this week, the American president stopped sharing intelligence with Ukraine, stopped sharing satellite images with Ukraine, including those provided by commercial companies, not state companies, but commercial, for which we pay money. Then they have stopped the delivery of weapons, of course not the ones by Trump, but by the previous administration, and they were already on the border with Poland, literally close to the front lines where they are very much needed. And they have also banned the maintenance of F-16s. Tell me, is it just neutral? No actions taken towards Russia, just the discussions how to lift the existing sanctions. And, you know, I'm always kind, but I have to be honest with you. Since the end of satellite and intelligence data sharing, Russians managed to target deeply populated Ukrainian districts, and they have killed dozens of civilians. There was 2 very harsh attacks, dozens of civilians killed because Donald Trump turned off the satellite and the intelligence. So this is already a collaboration with the Kremlin dictator. This has already happened. This is the new reality. And recently there was an interview where Trump was asked about recession, and he actually banned this kind of word. He wants to say transition or something like that. And by the way, how do you feel about a large number of words banned from official usage? This is Orwell. I do not remember anything similar in Ukraine. It was just back in Soviet, during Stalin regime, there were banned words, and now you have it. An journalist asked Donald Trump, do you realize that with you paralyzing Ukraine, paralyzing sharing the intelligence, you actually prevent, the country may not survive? And he says, they cannot survive for a number of reasons. Wow, he is a very bad person. And, I'm surprised that so many Christians support that, because it is so much against the Bible, what Bible teaches us. And as a Christian in Ukraine, I believe he will fall with such attitudes. It is not acceptable. He could have chosen to be neutral. He could have chosen to be America first. That's one thing. But right now, he does everything to weaken Ukraine. I will not be surprised if they turn off Starlink tomorrow, for which we pay, not we, but Poland and Germany and other countries. Thank you. But I mean the Starlink that was bought for us by others. And I will not be surprised if Trump will start sharing intelligence with Putin, whom he adores. And so right now he's playing for the Kremlin. He's saving Russia, that is on the brink of economic and military collapse. And that's insane. I don't know if you've seen, but even China, an example of this authoritarian country, stated that it is not okay to take such shifts in geopolitics. And Iran claimed that Donald Trump has very tyrannic ways to speak with people, and they are not going to negotiate further. I don't know where Trump gets this amount of evil, disrespect, and bullying towards normal countries, towards normal people, towards America's century-long friends. And my support goes to the people of Canada, to the people of Mexico, and I'm very proud of Romanians today who hopefully have prevented this artificially created TikTok candidate full of conspiracy theories who claimed he met with aliens, but for sure met with Russian KGB, FSB agents. It looks like he is prevented from the participation in the elections, and this will disappoint baby Musk. Once again, his mom is angry that you guys don't buy the cars or destroy the existing ones. And this is a proof that bullies are super, super weak. And we will see them, I don't know, what would be the word, debullified? I'm sure it is coming. But these are difficult times, because with all my Ukrainian optimism, with all the support that I receive and all the kind messages, we have to be realistic. Without Starlink, without intelligence, without weapons delivery, and with China and Iran bringing everything Russia needs, and potentially Trump sharing Ukrainian positions with our enemy, it is very dangerous. I hope you stand together with us and you realize it's time to act, not just speak. We pray for that, and we are very grateful for all the demonstration of your support. And trust me, the democratic world needs that. Join me on X, join me on Threads, on Discord, on Instagram, and Blue Sky. All the links in the description of this video. Remember, I never invite you to chat privately on Telegram or WhatsApp. These are scammers. Always report them. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Check our merch shop. There are lots of good items that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine, and we desperately need that right now. I am very grateful to all the people who openly and strongly demonstrate their support of Ukraine and their support of freedom and democracy, and who don't want oligarchs to rule the planet. You are brave and you are an inspiration. And thank you for being friends of mine in Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!